Hello, people of the YouTubes. Welcome back to the EnduroJoe channel. We have a very special guest with us today. His name is Walt from Impudent Mortal terrain. He's the one that supplied all of the goodies that are behind me that will be traveling with me to Rumble on Route 66 tomorrow and be a prize table for the winning state. So the state that has the top 3 players will get to take this home, paint it up, and make it look even prettier than it is now. So all this is made out of Walt's garage. I think he said this is the 4th Kickstarter. The 5th is actually online now, so go check it out. And without further ado, we'll turn it over to him and he'll tell you how to get there.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, like you said, this is our company got our start on Kickstarter. This is the 4th project, and we do currently have a 5th project running. It's a warehouse district, scaled for anything from 28 to 35 millimeter, kind of going for that modern day or hero vibe. You know, anything like Pulp City. You know, any current modern things like Mercs or zombie games or anything else like this that would fit real well with.
Nice. So this is kind of, it looks very Infinity-esque. What kind of got you started buying a giant laser and cutting terrain?
I got laid off probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I used to do IT work. I was a Cisco network technician, so the routers and switches, not the web design stuff. And moved up to Atlanta, had recently gotten married. Was having a hard time finding a job, and I had always just made terrain, you know, like how most people do. You know, you get a block of foam, and you start cutting, and you know, paint it gray. You know, put some flock on it, and hit it with some highlights, and put it down on the table, and you're good to go. And I had come across, I forget how I originally came across Kickstarter, but I came across it, and you know, I had seen, I think it's Tectonics. I'm not quite sure how the heck you say it, but they were one of the very first laser terrain Kickstarters. And I saw that and I was like, you know what? I could do that. You know, so I kind of I've always been real handy at putting things together. You know, just crafty. Definitely not artistic, but definitely crafty. You know, so I figured a laser that's nice. I can draw nice square things or nice circular things. I'm like, I can handle that. You know, just kind of went from there. So we put up a Kickstarter, it got funded, and we've just gone from there.
Nice. So this is the industrial board. I think there's a near future and a few others. What are some of those others, and kind of how do they differ from the industrial stuff?
The first stuff that I just did some really simple buildings to try to get across every genre. You know, there's a Tudor house, there's a stone house, there's a brick, there's a little sci-fi bunker, blah, blah, blah. Then the next Kickstarter that I did actually kind of expanded upon those lines and added some different floor plan shapes and added some other details. And then the next one I did was my next first attempt at a table, which I play Infinity. JSA, I've been playing for a while now. And, you know, it's like, all right, well, you know, if I'm going to play Infinity, let's come up with some Infinity terrain. So I went ahead and came up with that stuff, you know, and then did that Kickstarter. It didn't go so well. I mean, it got funded, which is fine. You know, you learn a lot as these things go on. And then the next stuff, the cooling platform is what started this line. I just had just an idea in my head, just popped into my head for this platform with these 4 big fans on it. Yep, that right there. That's what started this line, and I came up with that idea, and then it just kind of, I'm like, all right, what else would go with this? What else do I want to do with it? And then, you know, thought about having the elevated walkway sections, you know, the pipe crates for some scatter terrain, you know, the processing plant, you know, everything else just kind of came together.
So this one right here is one that I like a lot. Where did this guy come from? Is it like did you find like an old refinery and were you inspired by refineries?
That idea was actually, I ran this the Kickstarter this came from, our fourth Kickstarter, had 28 millimeter industrial and it had 15 millimeter industrial terrain in it. And when I run a Kickstarter, I like to leave the stretch goals kind of open because I want to get everybody else's input to see what kind of pieces of terrain they want. You know, like, here's what I'm thinking, here's where I think this is going. You know, what do you guys want? And that piece was one of the original pieces in the 15 millimeter. In fact, the other tanks that you have back there, the horizontal tanks, yep, yeah. Those, that was part of the 15 millimeter terrain as well. And everybody in the 28 millimeter was like, we want that, but we want it in 28 millimeter size. So we went ahead and scaled those up. Yep, those right there. So we went ahead and we scaled both of those up and added it to this line. As far as where the inspiration and stuff comes from, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, I stare at a lot of pictures on the internet of just different stuff. Like when I was doing this train, just different industrial places and pictures and things like that. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. Oh, that's kind of neat. Oh, that's kind of neat. And then just kind of mush it all together, and what you see is what you got.
Nice. Yeah. One of the things that I like about it is on most of the pictures, you know, it doesn't do it justice. Just because I saw the walkways, I'm like, well, they're cool, but then hopefully, I mean, you can see underneath. There's all this crazy pipe detail, and the fact that everything's kind of connected together. It's really like it's not one piece of MDF. It's MDF grating, or like a plastic grating, and then a cardboard, which gives a lot of depth and is really different than anything else that I've seen.
Thank you. That's what I strive for. I try to look at what else is out there, and you know, instead of trying to do what somebody else has got, you know, I try to just do something different.
Yeah, I think you succeeded. There have been many people that have come over as I've been building this out, and they're just super impressed. I haven't let them play on it because the first people to play on it will be at Rumble.
No touchy. You no touchy.
Exactly. You buy it, you break it, and pay for expedited shipping. But yeah, it's really great. It's getting a lot of great feedback. And I can't wait to have people play at it at Rumble. One of the kind of cool things that I didn't really know what it was for until I asked. It was probably in the instructions, which I gotta say the instructions, there's PDFs for everything out there, and they're really handy. They're step by step. I haven't gotten lost except for when I found this guy, and I was like, well, what the hell is this? What does this do? and so he's like, it climbs ladders, and sure enough, it's what goes in here to where your guys, you know, can go and climb the ladder, and you now with climb and all the different changes in skills, it's super handy. And so anything that comes with ladders, I think, comes with at least one or two of those guys. So those are super cool. And another one of the ideas where I hadn't seen anybody tackle the how do I climb a ladder.
Yeah, that's one of those things. See, when I look at terrain, I look at it a little bit differently than I think a lot of players do. I've noticed that a lot of players get very, well, this is what the rules say, you know. So I mean, you know, when I look at games, you know, especially Infinity, one of the reasons I like Infinity is because it's, you know, it's the whole ARs. It's always your turn. There's always something going on, you know, and it's a quick game once you get the fundamentals down. And I always hated it where, you know, you've got terrain and it takes you 3 turns to move around the train to get into combat, you know, and silly things like that. So when I look at things like the ladders, or if you look at our near future set, I've got some doors and some things of that nature. I always looked at it as the place effect. Basically, if you've got a 6-inch move and 2 inches you're at the ladder, then you go up the ladder and then you continue your 4-inch move. That's how I've always looked at it. You know, as long as everybody's playing like that, it's fair for both people. But then I got well, that's not what the rules say. I'm like, well, how about, no, that's not what, I was like, all right, fine. So we need a way to go up the ladder. I'm like, all right, I'll figure something out. And there's the results.
No, it works. It works great. I was only confused probably because of my own stupidity and the fact that I didn't read the instructions. So
we're men. I know it's hard reading them. You have no idea how hard it is writing them.
Oh, I bet. I mean, they're well written, and so I have a question as far as because there will be other people out there that will say they will read the instructions and they're like, I'm a man, just throw away the instructions.
Yeah.
As far as like glue and cutting material, because it is multi-textural terrain. I mean, there's cardboard, there's plastic, there's MDF. Is just a good, just regular old wood glue? Is that no?
Well, no, but yeah, just no. MDF is sawdust that has come off of the sawmill floor that has been mixed with glue and pressed into sheets. You get it wet, and it expands.
Okay.
So, wood glue like that, and even worse, like the Elmer's, the PVA stuff, that will seep into it quicker than it will dry, and it will cause the MDF to start to expand, and it'll start to come apart on you.
Okay.
In addition to that, it's not going to hold the plastic. I am a huge proponent of 5-minute epoxy.
Okay.
It only takes 5 minutes to set up. It gives you a moment to make sure that you've got the pieces in the right place. And it's not like super glue. If you've built a lot of terrain and you're in the habit of dry fitting and reading the instructions, then super glue is okay. Obviously it'll do a lot faster, but the problem is you screw up with that super glue on the MDF or the cardboard and you're going to pull it apart, forget about it. The glue is going to stay in the MDF, and the gray board is all going to come apart. But actually, on our website, impudentmortal.com, in our instructions sections, I've got a video that discusses all of this. What kind of glue to use, how to paint it, all that kind of type of stuff. Because I know not everybody's put together MDF terrain. Those, kind of the questions they asked.
Sweet. So yeah, go look at that video and read the instructions. And, is there anything else that you wanted to chat about? I mean, I do another flyby here of the terrain, and because some of the stuff is you don't really get an idea about how cool it is. Like the tower here. Oops, I got my headphones caught. So the tower is, these little fans are a multi-layer piece, which once you punch them out, you're like, oh my God, there's so many pieces. But then they go together, and things just look pretty amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this was probably one of my favorite pieces. I mean, it's out of all the ones on the table, it's one of the smaller ones. Let's see if we get the camera correctly. But the way it looks in the end is just is pretty superb, and it's heavy. These are actually PVC pipes. These other guys over here are just, I guess, cardboard tubes is the best way to describe them.
Yep, heavy-duty mailing tubes.
Yeah, and then probably my second was your cooling tower, which we kind of briefly went over. But I'll do another flyby. So to be honest, and folks, if you get this tower, these little pieces around the circle, don't throw them away because you need them. I had to go back in the trash and find them all, and thank God I did, because I was sad and I was an idiot and didn't read the instructions for that and see that. Well, I did read the instructions.
I even enclose, every time that I ship something out, I even enclose a nice colored piece of paper that says, make sure some of the parts are pretty small, but you need them, make sure you check the instructions.
Yes, so there you have it, folks. I mean, luckily I found them all, so it looks like it's supposed to look, but it was one of those, I'm reading the instructions and I'm going, okay, where the hell are those little bitty pieces? And I still had them, so they're all attached now. But Yeah, no, that one's a pretty fantastic piece. It's giant, and oh, one of the things that Walt told me, and if you go get this board, is there's a lot of line of sight, so play them as solid pieces.
Yeah, treat the pipe crates as solid, and treat the handrails on the walkways, and then the stanchions on the walkways. Treat all that as solid, because if you don't, and you're going second turn, you're not going to have much of a second turn.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if somebody's got solar reaction or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
So it's amazing terrain.
Thank you.
I don't get to keep. Well, I may get to bring it back and paint it up, but I'll probably go into to the website here before April 30th. And those of you going to Rumble will know why April 30th is such an important date. And picking me up a little something. I think there's a great bar that you guys have, or
that's our near future bar. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So the place that we're in is supposed to be a makeshift bar, so I'm looking forward to getting the bar and getting that worked up, and probably a few other pieces. But I guess as far as the game goes, we'll talk about the game here just briefly, and then we'll go over to some up and coming stuff. I mean, we know that the Kickstarter is ending here soon, so we'll talk about that. Real quick, what's you said Yujing is your most favorite or your prevalent army, the one you play?
Oh yeah, I saw. I'm an old guy, and I was brought up on Akira. That was the first. Just oh my God, kind of type anime, movie, and love that movie. And flipping through the internet one day, came across Infinity. Started looking around, came across the figs, and I saw those bikes. I'm like, I have no idea how this game plays. I have no idea about this faction, but I'm getting those, and I'll figure the rest out later. And then I got lucky once I realized what my faction was, and who it was. I'm a big fan of the Japanese culture, and looking at those tags. Looking at my tag, that was just too hot, not to have, and playing with all my ninjas and the TO camo. It just, it suits my play style. Although nice. I am working on a Pano army at the moment too. So.
Everybody needs a little BS in their life, and that's what Pano is.
Yes. Yes.
So have you gotten much into the N3 rules? I mean, do you have changes that you like with N3, or?
I unfortunately, since the beginning of this year, the laser has pretty much not stopped running. I went and played at our local gaming store. We had a tournament. There was 10 people. It was the first time that I had played with the N3 rules ever.
Nice.
I had gotten the book as soon as it came out, and didn't get a chance to read it until a couple days before the tournament. So I haven't gotten enough into it yet to compare for what. And the truth of the matter is I didn't really bother. I got the basics down because when I was getting into Infinity, it was right about the time that, when I started actually playing. I had the figs for a while. When I actually started playing, it was right about the time that they're like, okay, new rules are coming out. So as soon as they told me that, it was a matter of sitting down across the guys, like, all right, give me the basics of this, and let's roll some dice and push some figs around. But I'm not going to worry about it too much till the new rules come out. Now the new rules come out, and I don't have any time. So.
Well, I mean, that's a catch-22. Not having time because the laser's always running is great. So there's that.
Yeah, but I don't know. We're on the edge of that, needing a second laser. I mean, I'm running every day this week. Has been 12 hours.
Oh wow!
And I'm trying to catch up. We actually, I don't know if you're familiar with DreamPod 9 in Heavy Gear. Heavy Gear Blitz. I'm actually we're doing the tokens.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, they just did a Kickstarter and rebooted it, or getting all new plastic models and getting all the molds made for that and everything else like that. And we're going to be providing the tokens, so I've been working on that. We go to cons. Just got back from Crucible 4, which is a big one in Orlando. Right after that, we had GnomeCon down in Savannah. We started the year off with Siege of Augusta. And the sales at those cons were better than they were last year. So we're going down with a lot of stuff, but we're selling a lot of stuff, so I'm coming down and I have to make stuff, and, it's just been like, pull the air out.
Fantastic.
And then some guy sends me an email saying, hey, do you mind giving us some terrain for Route 60, Rumble on Route 66, if you could? So, just add to that to-do list.
Yeah, and to as a full disclaimer, all of this was donated. So, a big thank you. I'm gonna applaud for the other gentlemen that aren't on the call that helped put on the event. But yeah, this is ginormous. We didn't have an amazing prize like this for best state last year, but we do now, and it's pretty awesome.
Hey, no worries. Like I said, you gotta support the community, right?
Yes, and support you have. Those that'll watch this before Rumble, come to Rumble. There's still spots left, so support your state. Get in there and win some cool stuff. We actually have some of the objective markers up for prizes as well, so you can come and win some objective markers. Those are pretty awesome.
And I think I sent you a drop ship too for a prize, didn't I?
Yes. And that's not a symbol because I didn't want to mess it up. But yeah, that'll and it's an amazing dropship. For those that haven't seen it, go to the website and check out the dropship. It's one of the more cooler dropships that I've seen, and to scale and everything. So yeah, no, we kept that for a special prize that an individual could win. But yeah, I don't have anything else other than my eternal gratitude for donating this stuff that folks get to play on and take home and paint. Some of it isn't fully assembled, just so they can kind of unassemble and paint it and then put it back together. Like the towers, the things come out, and so that you get paint on everything. But no, it's pretty awesome. There's ladders everywhere, so you can get everywhere you need. And the walkway is one of the coolest things. I was like, a tag can fit on the walkway, which is a big thing because tags are giant. So the walkway is just big enough for a 455 mil base, which is awesome.
Yeah, the first game playing on this, I took all this into my into the local game store, and I took my tag across the walkway, and I had it connected to the processing plant, and got it to the processing plant, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's basically a rule here that says that if the thing doesn't fit through it, they can't go through it. And the guy shook his head. He's like, yes. And I'm like, all right. I climb it. So I got my tag standing on top of the freaking processing power, raining down fire. But unfortunately, I had, it wasn't the best place to be because there was AROs probably from like every guy that he had. But, they took out my tag. My tag took out some guys. It was much fun.
Yeah. A very king of the moment situation. Yeah, and so yeah, I kind of played around a few different ways on how to put this board together there. I'll definitely send you a picture once we get it all set up, so you see kind of what the scenario, or the configuration rather, that we plan on. But yeah, do you have anything else to add? Anything? Let's see, what's the date of the Kickstarter and where they can go to find it?
If you just go to Kickstarter and you type in Impudent Mortal, you probably won't get past typing in the Mortal part, and it'll pop up. It's our warehouse district, and it will be ending on Monday. Yeah, there you go.
Let's do this. So switch the camera to me. So those of you that have a mirror, make sure you use the mirror because it looks like everything's backwards. But this is the symbol that you'll want to associate. It's pretty much everywhere with Impudent Mortal. They're on Facebooks. Let's see, looks like they're on the Twitters.
Yep.
And there's their website, and I'm not sure if the YouTubes will do me justice and swap this around, so we'll make sure we put it down below here in the comments so that everybody's got the link to the coolness. Well, do you have anything else other than the Kickstarter name? Or?
Just one more piece of advice when you go to set the table up. The walkways, don't run them completely across the table, because if you do, that's going to keep anything with medium bases out, because only small bases will fit through those. But it was also kind of done on purpose, so you got to make that tactical choice of where do I send, what guy.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I did notice that whenever I was putting it together. I'm like, well, at least a 28 mil will still fit. So this was just kind of to set it up and show it off. I may do like a U configuration or something like that in the corner, or to where it's on that side. We'll also mess with AD troops coming in to have large bases, like everybody's friend Duroc. Everybody loves the little airdropping wolf. Well, awesome. That's all I have, really. Unless you have anything else, I appreciate you hanging with the technical difficulties we had. And
I got my camera. Who knows what was up with that? But glad we got it figured out.
Yes. Walt was in the darkness for a while, and then the light came, and it was brilliant.
Story of my life.
All right, sir. Well, I appreciate it much, and we'll send you some pictures, and we'll tag you on some posts.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time out, to do the video chat. I hope you guys have a good time at Rumble, and the table finds itself a good home.
I'm sure it will. There's nothing but good people coming, so I have no doubts it'll find a good home and get painted.
Awesome.
Well, cool deal, sir. I appreciate it, and have a fantastic rest of your evening. I'm sure the laser's almost done, so time to slip in that next piece of wood.
It's actually time to go work on the heavy gear tokens now. So.
Nice. Well, cheers, sir, and have a great evening.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.